Hi, everybody. Here we are, Saturday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central, and so on and so forth. Welcome to the show, and we got a good show tonight. I'm going to stumble through it again here, but I got a guest that's going to help me co-host here in a little bit. We got a big show. We got an extra guest on that we didn't know about at the time, but hey, that's what this is all about. It's all about the dogs. So, all right, first things first, I want to reach out to Candace and Jeff and Elizabeth and Carol up in Montana. I haven't sent your winnings out yet. I've been swamped, but I will get them out. I will get them put together this weekend, and I will get them sent out Monday. And I really apologize for that. Got all your addresses and names right here. So anyway, so we're going to get going here. Yeah, we got a good show tonight. Got hopefully some good information for you. Great training. And well, we'll cover that. So might even be able to give you somewhat of a demonstration. No, maybe not. We'll see. So let me hit the comments real quick. Hi, Carol. There you are. You're on. Thank you. No problem. Hi, Lori. Lori's in New York. She has Akbash Pyrenees mix named Mr. Tibbs. I got to meet him. And Carol's up in Montana. So she's with, she knows the Montana Rescue. We're streaming there. And I'm very excited to say that right now, well, until a minute ago, we had folks watching from all 7 of our destinations that we're streaming to. That's exciting. Thank you. Well, hi. Dagwood says hi. All right. You guys remember Dagwood. That old boy is something else. So young boy, actually. All right. So we're going to get going here, and we have Chloe with us. All right. And with her foster mom. She was a victim of COVID, but kind of, I don't know, her parent got sick with COVID and had to move. And I don't know, maybe through, like I wrote there, maybe through all the commotion, they just forgot about her and they left her behind. But, well, there were a couple other dogs there too. How do you forget all 3 of them? So, and then what's suspicious is animal control was aware of it and they got her right away. And well, Sarah and Tyler stepped up to foster, and that was the only way we can get her in. We need fosters. So, well, let's play the video we played for her last month when she came in, I think on the 12th. And then we'll bring Sarah and Chloe up. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Look at Miss Chloe. Yeah, she's adorable.
Yes, she is.
Is she as tiny as she looks?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will have to show you all photos, but she's only 57 pounds, so she's the smallest Pyrenees that we have.
Wow. Actually, I've got some nice, cute ones there. Yeah, isn't she adorable? And she's up on this website now too. Now, so when we first got her in, we were told she didn't do well with men, but yet there's a video right there clip that was in her video that I just played that shows your husband Tyler with Chloe. How do we explain that? That they said she didn't do well with men.
So it takes her a little second to warm up. She loves females more. She's been yep, right there. You can see she's been my shadow for a long
She
time.
is tiny, huh?
Yeah, she really is. But once you give her a few more minutes, especially if the men sit down, she definitely likes to love up on them, and cuddle with them as well.
So it's all about letting her figure it out. Make
Yeah.
Let her figure out they're okay. And
Yeah.
that's a good practice to get into with any Great Pyrenees, any guardian breed, any dog. So that's awesome. So now how does she get along? I saw in the video some neighbor kids, neighbor dog and stuff. Is that still going well?
Yeah, it is. We have two dogs, so she's been playing with two males. And so that's been really good. And then we have kids next door. And we've taken her a couple places with kids. And she seems to do really well with them.
All right, I'm going to stop hiding her with her pictures because we got the real deal here. So this is good. So what about cats? Do you have any cats?
Yes, I do have a cat. They are really funny together. They definitely play. She playfully chases him. He playfully chases her. So she is good with cats as well.
Wow, kids, cats, dogs. Um, wow, sounds like the perfect girl. Except she's got a little tiny phobia, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
She
She
has
is
a little
not.
phobia of the crate. And what a coincidence. We're going to be covering crate training tonight, but Sarah's schedule won't allow her to stay for that. But the good news is, well, we're going to be talking Monday probably. So this is a good thing. She breaks out of her crate, doesn't she?
She does. I do not know how she does it. I call her a little
Houdini?
magician, or yeah, a little Houdini, or whatever you want to call her. It's very confused on how she breaks out of them.
Yeah. And what we're going to do is well, anytime you can't figure out why your dog's doing something, well, let's just ask the dog. And we kind of do that in a way. All right. So, um, but yeah, Vaughn was saying right here, you can't have a better dog than a Great Pyrenees. Great dog. She loves them to death. I agree. Um, and hi back, Nancy. Sorry I missed you. And welcome from Colorado. So, wow. So now, when she breaks out of the crate, does she do damage in the house? I understand she gets a little stressed because she was in the crate. So, usually when they do that, they're somebody has made them afraid of the crate. Is that what
Hmm.
you see?
Yeah, yeah. Whenever we first got her, she would not even go in the crate at all.
Mhm.
She's now graduated to where she will go into the crate, but the second you shut the door, she does not enjoy it.
Okay. All right. And that's actually a lot of dogs do that. Okay. So you're not in this alone. So, all right. Now she hasn't been spayed yet, right?
Correct. No, we
Okay.
are setting that up soon.
All right. So, but you can read all about her at GPRescue.com. And because her bio got up today, I think, as a matter of fact. Um,
Hmm.
so that's pretty awesome. So, um, and that's where you go right there. So, and while you're out there at GPRescue.com, you can look around and you can, well, look at volunteering because if you can't foster, there's other ways to help. Okay, and you can look at the foster form and fill it out. And there's a way to donate up there. God only knows we need donations. This is rescue slow time of year. All right. Well, think about it. It's tax season. Okay. Not only do we get worried about doing our taxes, then, well, we paid our taxes and now we're broke. So, the options are low, but this is nationwide and it happens a lot every year. So if you can donate a little bit, I mean, a dollar. Okay, if every one of our followers on the Facebook page donated a dollar, we'd have $2,400, or we have more than that now, but it'd be a lot of money, and that's a lot of food, medical expenses, vet bills, and everything. So, Now, wow, I mean, you pretty much described what kind of home she would need. Pretty much, well, probably somebody's home more than not. Do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, that would definitely be true. We're trying to train her currently just to take, a couple hours here and there because obviously we all can't be home 24/7. But yeah, definitely
Okay.
someone that's home more and will minimal crate train her.
All
We have left her out for a couple hours without the crate and she's actually done pretty well. So she
right. Okay.
might do okay without, but
Cool. Now, we actually looking for to move her because one of your dogs has to have knee surgery, huh?
yes, his
Okay.
kneecap apparently is sliding out of place. So
That's
we need to
called
do some surgery to fix
luxating
that.
patella.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's still a surgery. Fortunately, it's not as invasive as a like an ACL tear or something like that. But wow. So um, wow. Hi, Ronald. I see your comment. You're disabled. Well, I mean, I didn't retire initially. I was disabled. So, but with what I do, it didn't affect that too much. And something to keep you company and easy to train. If you never had a peer and you don't do your homework on the breed, there's your step number one. Go out to a website. It's called itsdogornothing.com. We're actually streaming to it. The link is in our description. All right. And there's where you get all your information that you're really going to need. You don't have to go anywhere else. How old is Chloe? Nasty's asking that, Sarah.
The vet said she was about 2 or 3.
Okay.
We
Two,
don't think
3 years
that she's
old.
had a litter or anything like that, but 2 or 3.
Okay. All right. So, oh, she hadn't had a litter and she's 2 to 3. So that means we're a crapshoot on when she's going to go in the heat. Okay. I get it. So, hi, Judy. Judy's with Peer Rescue and Sanctuary in Colorado. We're streaming to her page too. She's the one that's been asking us to cover the crate training. So we decided to go ahead and do that. Um, um, okay, well, Marion wants to know if what you think she's mixed with. Any ideas? She's
I do not know. I will say she does have the double dews in the back, like a
mhm,
Pyrenees. My other
mhm.
one does not. But I don't know what she's mixed with, honestly.
I can't tell either. I don't even want to venture to guess. And she's in the, I mean, she's if she's 2 to 3 years old, I mean, she's if she's 3, she's pretty much reached maturity for the most part. But I can't tell. I see Great Pyrenees, but her size doesn't make any sense now, does
It does not.
it? So all right. So now, just out of curiosity here, let's talk about Chloe again for a second. Um, you're not what's your guess? Does she have separation anxiety? Do you think that's what it is? Because, well, the breed is bred to go out in the fields and work without a human. So
hmm
wouldn't separation anxiety be a little unusual?
I definitely think she has some,
Okay.
especially with me. She's a lot closer to me than my husband.
Okay.
So part of the reason is I think she gets a little bit upset whenever I leave her.
Okay. All right. Well, it's something we can figure out. I think that may not be separation anxiety because actually that's one of the highest misdiagnosed behaviors of this breed, believe it or not. But could be doesn't because I have seen it because it's conditioned by a human, and that would have nothing to do with you guys. That would be from where she came from. So wow, that's a beautiful looking girl. Now, when she plays, does she play rough, young play and zoomies and stuff?
Yes, she does. For
Oh,
sure.
you got to get us some
Um,
video of that.
y-
Oh, you're freezing up on us. Can't have that. Um, that's all right. We got a shot of her ear. Good looking ear, too. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Sarah. If you can hear me, there you're
oh,
back.
she plays pretty well with both of my dogs. Both my dogs obviously are bigger than her. She plays really well. She does get the zoomies. She gets very excited when you come home. She does a little tap dance where all 4 feet are tapping on the ground. So she loves when you come home.
And also she greets you very well too, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she actually doesn't jump, which is really good, but she does like to hug you.
So
So
that's
she
a
will come up.
gentle raise up and hug.
Yeah. It's not been a jump. Like all 4 feet have never been off the ground when she does that. It's literally like she just I don't know, crawls on you or something to give you a hug, or like gets on her hind legs and puts her arms around you.
Ah, okay. That's awesome. All right. Okay, GPRescue.com. That's where it's all happening, especially for Chloe. So thank you, Sarah, for coming on. And I wish your husband would have been there, Tyler, because that was pretty impressive what he did on when we were introducing him to your pack. Now, is Jack, is that your Great Pyrenees that you have?
Yeah, Jack's my full-blooded Pyrenees that we got from a farm, and Clyde is a mix.
Clyde is a mix.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves them both. So whoever applies for her should have, well, another dog for her to play with. And probably a senior would be a little too old for her, you think?
Yeah, I
But
think so. Just because she does play a little rough. Like not a
and it
bad
sounds
way, but
like
young dogs would love it.
that sounds like children might be a requirement here, huh?
She would love children for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad she has her neighbors at the fence, because that was one of the first things we saw in the introductions. Boy, she really perked up when she saw those kids, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
all right.
They're
All
outside
right,
now. So
everybody.
anytime you saw her ears perk, it's because she was looking at them.
All right. Okay. Sarah, thank you. I know you're busy, and I'm going to let you go back down the green room so you can I'll say goodbye. Take good care of her. We'll be back in touch. Well, you're going to get back with me in an email. So thank you for bringing her on. She's just absolutely beautiful. So
Thank
um,
you.
and whoever gets her in a lot of weight, boy, they're going to hit the jackpot. So that's a good girl. All right, Sarah. Thank you. You have
Thank you.
you give her a nice little hug from me too. Okay.
I will.
All righty. Bye now. Wow. Okay. So GPRescue.com. That's little Chloe. Boy, she gets along with anything and everybody. That's awesome. So, okay. Now we want to move right on along here, and we're going to, yeah, Lori, she is a gorgeous girl. And Lori's with the, that Newfoundland place out of Connecticut. She's a foster. Now she's in New York, but so she fosters Newfoundlands. So, and she has an Akbash. Good mix, aren't they? So, all right, everybody. Now we've got our next one coming up, and this might get a little boring on you here, but it's only minute 22 seconds. So I didn't realize I had it in the 10-minute intro. So we'll bring her up. We'll play her video. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
How you doing? Looky
good.
there. Hi, Sky. Wow, she's graduated out of her cone. She got spayed recently, and
Oh,
And
yes. And she's one happy pup.
she is one happy camper. Well, I thank you, Ronald. You love Sky's video. Is that what you're talking about? Or our big long 10-minute intro that has all the videos or a bunch of the videos in it. But thanks for joining us, by the way. So let me let's get the camera on Sky here on Sky, and let's make her big. There we go, boys. I tell you what, that is one gorgeous dog. She literally lives like 20 steps from me. All right. So Rachel's my neighbor, and Rachel has Austin, and then mine. They all, well, except Zoe. That's kind of a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll get along every once in a while.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Sky. That's no. Zoe. So, but yes, Lori. Is there any other thing with the Great Pyrenees other than gorgeous? So no. There's so many in rescue because they make gorgeous puppies too, and when their body grows 3.5 times quicker than their minds, that's when people get confused that don't know the breed. So, and that's the thing. And now you can all of a sudden have a 90-pound, puppy, and they lose control. They don't know what to do. So, and it's not unusual. So now she was surrendered for pooping in the house, right?
Yeah.
Has she ever pooped in the house?
Nope, not one time.
And I know the video said that you've had her 4 weeks, but that's an older video now.
Yeah.
You've had her about 3 months now, 4 months?
Yeah, about three or four. Yeah.
And never pooped in the house.
No.
Huh.
Nope.
Tip of the day: if you don't have a fence, take your dog out to poop. So, Dave wants to know how old Sky is.
I believe she's almost 2.
Getting close.
Yeah.
Yep. She's very young. Steve is up there right there at the border of Michigan and Ohio. And he has a dog from the Indy Great Pyrenees Rescue. His name is Murphy.
Oh, okay.
And that is a gorgeous dog now. And they have, I believe her name's Misty. I think she's what is she, Steve? A golden? I don't remember. Too many dogs in my life. So now she's spayed. Does that mean she's getting ready to go?
Yep.
GPRescue.com. Sky's up there. You can read about her. And she's available for adoption. She has a foster. She doesn't need a foster. She needs an adopter.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, that is one good girl. What kind of home does she need? Have we had her around kids?
Not yet. I have that in the works.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yes.
Cool.
So as soon as the weather gets nice here, I definitely plan on introducing her to some little kids just to see how she does.
Okay. We don't want to get too little because she could knock them over accidentally.
Right.
And most of the time the dogs don't get in trouble for that. But always remember, everybody, it's not the dog's job to get along with young children.
Right.
It's your job to teach the young children how to interact with your dogs. Okay. Always remember that. Dogs don't have our logic. They don't know right from wrong. That takes logic. So anyway, we believe anytime you have a rescue, Steve, just assume they're mixed with something. Okay. Because we don't have that kind of background. A DNA test will tell you. And we always like to get the results of DNA from our adopters. We always like that if you do DNA. So personally, I don't care. And Rachel really doesn't care. I don't know if she's mixed or not. If she is, it would be with another descendant of hers, probably, like a Bremer or something maybe. But she's not the biggest one around, is she?
No, she's not.
No. How much did she weigh when she got spayed?
I believe it was 65 or 66. So she has put on weight since she's been here.
And how much did Chloe weigh again? 50?
57, I think she said.
So they're about, the two smallest in rescue. So, but I tell you what, there's still plenty to love there. Trust me. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
one affectionate girl. And look at that.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter, me or Rachel or whoever, she does well with everybody. I don't think she's met a stranger. So
No.
and her foster brother Austin, I'll tell you what, those two are just amazing together. Matter of fact, when she gets adopted, I'm a little worried about Austin because he's going to say, "Hey, where's my sister?"
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to get you another foster lined up here too. I mean, I tell you, fosterings, they're very rewarding, and they look at Austin.
Yeah.
If not for the human, could be for your dog.
Yep.
And if you have a dog in your home, well, shouldn't you have your dog included in the equation? So I know everybody I know keeps their dogs included. So look at her. And Austin, Austin's kind of a womanizer anyway, isn't he? He
Oh
loves
yeah,
girls.
he likes the girls.
Yes, he does. Yeah, they play and play and play. I mean, from the minute they've met, just about.
Yeah.
So she's very good. I mean, she's good with the other dogs. Now the cat, love-hate relationship. Let's put it that way.
Very much so. Yes.
Might be best if you have a cat that, will stand her ground. If that's not dog savvy, a dog savvy cat will trust a dog. And I don't know that she would hurt the cat. Rachel would know that better than me, but usually they don't. But what happens when they chase a cat, when a cat runs, the more they can't catch them, the more interested they are.
Yes.
Okay. And so I would have to say she's not going to hurt the cat in the end, but we just don't know for sure. She's still a dog. And raise her lips up once. Does she have teeth?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, she has teeth. So, yep, she's capable of hurting a cat. All right. So let's always assume that. All right. GPRescue.com. Is there anything special that she does that's kind of a gotcha for people?
When she gets excited and she gets into her zoomy stages, she likes to run in and out to get me to chase her. So when she comes back in, she does this kind of a bunny hop. And it's not to jump on you, but she's just that excited. So
wow. Now she's never jumped up on you, has she, or has she?
She has, but when she does, I just tell her off, and then she redirects her own self, and then that's when she's just jumping straight up in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I mean, you can easily teach them that, well, you would prefer her to, instead of coming and jumping up on you, to come and sit. All right. So if you catch it before the action, that's the easiest way to do that. But you know how to do all that.
Yep.
Rachel's biggest problem, she has a job that she works a lot of hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you got to eat, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you going to stay up and help me do this, Rachel?
I can.
So I don't stumble through everything.
Yeah.
All right. So now we talked to Sarah about Chloe and breaking out of the crate. All right. And just like I told Sarah, well, hey, you're not in that one alone. I know a lot of dogs that have broken out of crates. I don't, have you had one yet, Rachel, actually broken out of a crate? I don't think you have you?
No. Okay. Sky does fine in the crate.
Because we know how to crate train.
Yeah.
You don't start your crate training when it's, time to go to work. You start your crate training, the minute you get your crate. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes even before. All right. We actually have some papers of a different method to crate train. Depends on why the dog doesn't go in the crate. All right. If the dog doesn't want to go in the crate, that's one thing. All right. If the dog is afraid to go in the crate, that's another. All right. Now, Rachel and I have experience with a dog that it was definitely afraid of the crate. Okay. And she's a Kuvas, and I have her here. And Rachel knows better than just about anybody because she's kind of my trainer in training. And the dog has to do this under their own power. You have to give the guidance and the directives to have the dog trust you enough to be able to address that fear under her own power. Okay. Her or his. So, now anything you want to teach your dog, and this is across the board, it's got to be fun for the dog. Okay. If it's not fun for the dog, your dog's not going to be interested. All right. Especially a Great Pyrenees. And how many of you have been on a walk and you get to walk your dog across the street, go to the other side, next thing you know, your dog stops and lays down? Wow. Okay. That's not fun for either one of you, is it? Well, there's a reason the dog is laying down. Don't say you stubborn butt. That's not being stubborn. There's a reason there. What should be going through your head is, what made you think you had to do that? So there's always a reason. So let's go back to the crates. The first thing you're going to want to do is, always remember, don't shut the door when the dog goes in it. Not right away, especially if the dog is hesitant. Make it worth their while. Make it a safe place for them to go where no one can get to them. That means if you have multiple dogs, well, the dog you want to train for that crate is the only one allowed in that crate, at least for now. Leave that up to the dog. All right. So when you start crate training, you pay attention to your dog. What is the dog doing? Is the dog posturing and tail going down and tucking? Okay. Or is the tail going up and curling and the dog standing the ground just like a Pyrenees knows how to do? They stand their ground. That's indicators. The dog's talking to you. All right. The dog is telling you what the problem is with the crate. Now, some dogs, you put a crate there, or the crate's already there. You bring the dog home, dog runs right into the crate. Well, if that's the first day your dog's there, that's actually a good thing, because that dog has already been exposed to a crate and he knows it's a safe place to go. So when you bring a new dog into your home, one of the things I recommend personally is let the dog drag a leash around, for one. That way you don't have to grab the dog's collar, because you don't know what the dog's been through. You don't know if somebody's had a shock collar on the dog. But I can tell you 9 times out of 10, if the dog's doing something you don't want to do and you go grabbing that collar, the dog pays attention. Some of them will whip their head around. Some of them will bite you. And some of them will just get heavy, turn upside down, possibly pee on themselves. That's a new dog coming into the home. So you don't know. So have them drag a leash. That way, instead of grabbing the collar, you can pick the leash up. All right. And when you're crate training, if it's a new dog, well, you have the leash on, because I like to have the leash attached. All right. Now, some dogs look at it similar to, well, like you're holding your child's hand going through the store. And some dogs don't, but every dog's different. This is a Great Pyrenees breed. I never met 2 personalities the same yet. Have you?
No, never.
Never. And you've been around quite a few of them, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. So so remember I said, let's make it fun. So have your stuff ready. And another thing you're going to want to do inside the crate is have something for the dog to do that they want to do, not what you want them to do. All right. So maybe a Kong. All right. If you have multiple dogs, that's where they get the Kong. Why create a problem? Snuffle Mat. Okay. If you don't know what a Snuffle Mat is, message me. I don't have one here. You can make a interactive toy. That's 2-inch PVC pipe that I make. And you drill holes in it. The holes size depends on what you put in there. Okay. Now, typically I don't use that for inside a crate, because if you put kibble in there, lay it on the floor and give it a roll, and a little bit of kibble comes out, you just taught your dog how to stay busy for what? Good 45 minutes probably, depending on the dog, but they will not leave that until it quits making the rattle noise of the kibble rolling around in there. So that's a job. All right. Stimulant. Always remember, everybody says the Pyrenees a job. The first thing that pops in your mind is sheep. Well, no. Look at it this way. If you ask your Great Pyrenees to sit and your Pyrenees sits, You just gave your dog a job and he did it. Okay. So you better have a paycheck ready because it's a short job. All right. And that's how easy a job can be. Now, when you're putting the dog in the crate that doesn't want to go into the crate, let's address that. He doesn't want to go, and you're trying to make your dog do something he doesn't want to do. Then you're going to find a stubborn streak in a Great Pyrenees that normally isn't there because they're not stubborn. They're more persistent at their job. So if they don't want to do it, well, call them back to you. You got to try something different because he's got to do this under his own power. But then you say, hey, wait a minute. 20 minutes ago, he went in there on his own. But when I want him to go in, boom. That's because when he's associating a human being there with the door being shut. So when you start crate training, that door is not in the equation of being shut. Okay. So I'll just go down our little piece of paper that we have here at Great Pyrenees Rescue in Missouri. Now, keep in mind, this is just one of the methods that we can use. If it doesn't work, you stop doing it and try a different method. You have to meet the need of the dog, the individual dog at the time. And there's no textbook techniques here. That's why you see on Facebook sometimes the owner's manual for the Great Pyrenees, it's like 6 feet tall. All right. There's actually some truth to that. So, all right. Now, this also works for if you want a dog to just lay in a bed too, a bed on the floor, dog bed. This is kind of a dual thing here that we put together. All right. Whenever you start working on crate training, work with, about 2 feet from the opening of your crate and with your dog and have your treats. And you always, anytime you want your dog to do something, make sure there's no confusion. All right. So whenever a dog isn't wired to, you give them a command for them to not do something, the command has to be for them to do something. Okay. That's hard to explain sometimes. So if you say no, the dog's just going to sit there and look at you. And the only reason he's looking at you because he heard a sound come from you. He has no clue what you said. No, there's too many meanings that we have to it. They don't have logic. They don't know what any of that means. Wow, you know what that means? They don't know right from wrong. So we make them wrong when they do something wrong. They don't know that's wrong what they did. And just because you told them before, well, you may not understood what you said. So no confusion. So if you call your dog by his name and then say sit, you have to put 4 seconds in between his name and the command, or his name is the command word. Always remember that. If you have multiple dogs and you call one of your dogs, you don't have to say their name because they know who you're talking to because they're all going to come anyway. All right. Usually. So it doesn't really matter, but they know who you're talking to because your tone subconsciously changes. So anyway, just work a couple feet from the opening of your crate or where your bed is if you're doing a bed. Now, you want to put something on the bed or in the crate. Always have something in there that he gets in there. He goes, oh, cool. All right. And he gobbles it up. All right. So there you go. He just went in the crate. Anytime he goes in the crate on his own, have something in there. Okay. Anytime your dog goes in the crate, especially when you're crate training, have something in there for him to make it worth his while. And you'll always have a better chance of have him going in there. Now, if he's associating going in with you shutting that door, step back. Okay. Step back. You're going to hit a threshold to where he gets comfortable and there'll be a distance. And just remember that distance. That's where you work with your dog. Because if you put him in there and you shut that door, that's what he's associated. Not a safe place. And then you take the possibility of him wanting to break out. So make a game out of it. Talk to your dog. If you're embarrassed and you don't want anybody to hear you, well, then tell everybody to go to the store or something. All right, go swimming in the wintertime. So now, if your dog is really struggling with it, break your rewards down in layers, in levels. Level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1, basic treat reward. All right. Now you notice, I'll explain in a second, I use treats, and I'll tell you why in a second. Level 2 is the good boy, and then reinforced with a treat. Okay. And level 3 is the jackpot. If they're struggling with that crate and say, for example, all 4 feet go in there, they get the jackpot, good boy, they get treat, and they get the good boy, they get the emotion from it. Because you're going to give that anyway, especially if the dog's been struggling with it. That's the jackpot. All right. So now don't break the treats down and don't break your rewards down in levels if your dog isn't struggling to conquer something. All right. Treats. So here's why I use treat-based rewards. All right. Number one, we're not going to go into behavior, but now, and a lot of people don't believe in treats, and that's fine. That's their choice. Personally, I do this because we do swap it around after a while. We swap it for the praise first and then the reward and then praise because we want the dog to do stuff because it respects you. Right? And a good way to find out is when you say, look at me. And by the way, if you ask your dog to do something and he's not looking at you, get his attention. Look at me or focus or watch me, whatever your words are. But take the confusion away. Put your finger to your nose. Show them where you want to look. Take away the confusion. All right? So once you got their attention, then you have a better chance of them doing something for you. And anytime they come up and look at you without you asking them, always remember they're probably looking for help, guidance, or approval. And that's pretty much it with this breed. All right. So if you just give a glance back and don't do it verbally, you may have accidentally given your dog approval to go eat the cat because he might have been coming a tattletale. So Pyrenees are good at tattletaling. A lot of people have peers know that. All right. So and here's a good example right here. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for joining us. Duke. That was a dog that was highly abused by a so-called professional. Okay. When one shock collar didn't work, he put a more powerful one on that dog. All right. And that dog was traumatized by this so-called professional like you would never believe. The shock collars typically don't go well with guardian breeds. It's the most protected part of their body. All right. So let's not put them on there. There's other ways. There really is other ways. All right. And other good ways. So, all right. So Duke is a classic example. He definitely feels safe in his crate. All right. Now, positioning of a crate before you start your crate training. If you have 4 or 5 dogs and you got two that don't get along, and somebody's got to go in a crate for a little while anyway, and you just manage it. Well, don't put your crate in an area where the other dogs are required to go past it within a couple of feet just to go outside to go potty, because every dog has their personal space and it's about 3 feet around them. And when they're in the crate, it's no longer 3 feet around dogs, 3 feet around the crate. So location of the crate. If you're crate training your dog, you don't want to put the crate in the garage. You want to put it into an area, if you can, where they can still be part of the family. All right. Rachel has 2 crates in there, and they're both in the living room where they can be part of the family. All right. Mm-hmm. They go in and out of those crates all the time. They eat in their crates. Mm-hmm. And always remember, a true safe place has food and water in it too. Okay. All right. So now we've got a game we're going on. You can have your treat and you stand in front of your crate and just pitch that treat no more than a couple feet away from you. If you're on a carpet, it's good, but if it's on the floor, it'll probably bounce further away. If it goes too far, the dog's going to lose interest or lose sight. All right. But anyway, just put it on the floor and say, go get it. All right. By the way, I'm combining 2 methods here because I usually do. Depends on the needs of the dog. And he gets it. Show him there's another one. Hey, look, I got another one. Pitch it another direction. Say, go get it. And pretty soon, right now he's going, oh, you might have another one. Yep, I got another one. Pitch it another way and say, go get it. And then when he does that one about 2 or 3 times, try to have a bed in there or some type of padding and pitch that next treat right in front of the door of the crate. Hopefully it doesn't go in. Be a good shot. And tell him to kennel up. And he'll go get that treat and then do it again a couple times. And then this time pitch it into the crate and tell him kennel up. Now, if you don't, the kennel up is a crate command. Go into the crate. All right. That is a standard command that a lot of people use. You don't have to use your words. Okay. Don't use ours. Use yours. So Kennel Up just happens to be ours. And a lot of people, now if it was a bed, I'd probably say place or go to bed. All right. Doesn't really matter. The word depends on what you teach them it means, but it has to be an action. All right. A lot of people make a mistake when they try to teach their dog to leave it. Well, I teach the dogs that when I say if there's a dead rodent there, I don't want him to get, well, we teach them to leave it. We put a treat on the ground, right? Well, when I say leave it, that means come to me and get this one instead. Don't get that one. I see a lot of people will tell them to leave it, but what they're teaching them is just say wait, and then they let them go and take the treat off the floor. Well, no, we don't want them to have that treat off the floor because, well, if you do it with a rodent, you don't want them to have that. It's dead. That ain't no good for your dog. So they don't get that treat knowingly. Okay, so when I teach leave it, that's come to me and get this one instead. So, and then I can pick up the dead one and dispose of it because he never gets the one that's on the floor. Tip of the day. So back to crate training. But you see, all of this applies. This is all relationship. What are you going to say, Rachel?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. So now, anytime the dog puts one of the paws or two of the paws in the crate, that's if you have a reluctant dog, then he definitely gets rewarded. Now, here's an area that where we do not want to make a mistake. Okay. If your dog gets up and tries to come out of the crate before you release him, never use or immediately direct him back to his crate. Instead, call him on to you and comfort him. And then if he doesn't want to go into the crate, you're done. You're done for a little while. You're done. Do not flood your dog. Okay? You're just done. So crate training doesn't start when it's time for you to put him in the crate. We got to start this ahead of time. Some dogs, boy, you can crate train them in just 20 minutes and they're happy campers because, they probably had been in a crate and for the right reasons in the past. And then you've got dogs like my Kubas. Well, that was obvious that they forced her into a place she was afraid to go because she actually bit somebody, like trying to push her in. And we believe that her first family put her in there, and then when she was crying, they hit the crate with something. Scared the bejesus out of her while she was in there. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. You will embed the wrong reason, and then it makes much more challenging to heal that. Okay, so always try to meet the needs of the dogs. Let me see if there's any questions thus far, and if not, that means wow, we'll just move right on along. So now, always practice. Always make it a way of life, especially if your dog's reluctant and you want him to go in under his own power and then reward him. It's always a good thing that he goes into that crate and give him something to do. Okay. Now, before we go too much longer, thank you, Judy. I was just getting ready to discuss that. Crate size is pretty important, especially with a giant breed. If you got a 130-pound Great Pyrenees, I can pretty much tell you, don't try to stuff them in a 48-inch crate. It's not going to work out. Now, before you get a 130-pound Great Pyrenees, always remember, do your homework. What size crate will I need for that dog if I need a crate? Do your homework. Do you have a spot to put a crate that's 54 inches long, 37 inches wide, and 4 feet tall? Because that's what they need. There's a website out there. It's one of the dog suppliers. Actually has a video for an all-around all breed. Okay, that actually tells you how to size a crate. Now it's a little different for the Great Pyrenees. All right, but basically you measure from the floor to the top of their head, and add 8 inches for Pyrenees. Their video says 6. I disagree with it, so I add 8 inches. Now, then you measure from the base of his tail to his nose, add 8 inches. Okay. And by the way, when you measure to the top of his head, that's not the height of the crate. That should be the width of your crate. You know why? Have you ever seen your peer lay down on the floor on his side and all four stretching out? Well, unfortunately, they don't make a crate big enough for that. So primarily that's the height, but always remember that's also the width. A 54-inch crate is designed for a Great Dane, all right? But in general, it's designed for a giant breed, okay? And the Great Pyrenees is a giant breed. So make sure the crate is big enough. Now, if you got a dog like, say, Sky, and sometimes if you got a smaller dog going in a bigger crate, that scares them too. Right? Now, and here's how they account for it. Judy's asking the question, can you buy a grown size crate for your little puppy? Well, thanks for the loaded question, Judy. The answer is yes and no. Depends on the crate. A lot of the crates, especially 48s, I've seen them in a lot of the 54-inch crates, they come with an extra panel. And what that is to make your crate smaller for the smaller dog. All right. And you have, here's what I would suggest, unless you're a multimillionaire or Bill Gates or somebody like that, buy the crate that you're going to need when he grows up. Okay. Because if not, when he outgrows it, well, you're going to donate it, sell it, what are you going to do? But now there's a part two to that. Well, sometimes the puppy needs a little crate and they get scared in that big crate, too much room. Well, make sure if you get a big crate for a grown size pup, then make sure it's got that extra panel in it where you can make it smaller. And blankets. All right. Don't just cover the whole crate. Well, start with covering the whole crate, because sometimes you have to cover the whole crate or a couple of sides of the crate, depending on the dog and where the crate's located. Now, I'm not going to put Marine's up here until I read it real quick here, because you never know what's going to come out of Marine's mouth next, but I'm just going to trust her. Yeah, Marine has Duke's crate in the living room. All right. And her living room has obviously become an extended kennel. I've been on video calls. Right.
Totally get that.
But you see, that is the right way. Now, the way her living room's set up, if I remember right, she's got an area where just before you get to the crate, it's kind of a little bit crowded, but then they don't have to get within 3 foot of the crate. So she's actually got a nice setup. Now, that's a good question, because Nancy, there's no right answer on that one. For me, on a fixed income, I'm going to buy the size crate the dog's going to need as an adult. Is that the right answer? Well, it depends on the dog. All right. Like I said, you can make a big crate smaller, but you can't make a small crate bigger. Okay. So that you're going to have to weigh out. Or you could buy puppy crate. And if you're a foster like Nancy, you probably got a garage full of crates anyway. But reason why Nancy's asking is because crating is a problem in rescue. All right. First of all, does your dog need to be crated? Okay. Now we have Linda. She doesn't, our director, she doesn't believe in crates. She doesn't like crates. All right. And that's absolutely, that's the standard of the rescue. All right. But at the same time, it's case by case. And she knows that. So when you come in, and if somebody comes in and says that dog crate trained, and if the rescue says, well, she's never really needed crated, why do you need a crate? And let's see what the situation is. Maybe you're looking at the wrong dog. So always remember, number one with a crate, the need has to be there. Okay. So why do you want to crate your dog? Is the need there? All right. So, and because if your dog doesn't need a crate, trust me, your dog will definitely protect your house, because he's Great Pyrenees. All right. And now, does the dog have separation anxiety? We just talked about that. Yeah, I've seen separation anxiety over the years, but it is still probably my number one case that I've seen misdiagnosed. All right. Because a lot of times separation anxiety, what happens if it's not separation anxiety and you think it is and you're treating separation anxiety, some vets will actually medicate them for separation anxiety with a breed that's not typical in. Is it just separation anxiety, or do they not have anything to do? The dog needs a job. Okay, make sure he's got something to do. All right. And remember what I said about as simple as a job can be. So, so always remember that. Snuffle mats are a good job. Something to do. Stimulants, puzzle toys, and back to the crate. Now, once you get your dog going in there and he's going in on command, and whether it be reluctantly, if it's reluctant, make sure there's something in there, not just a treat, something to do. Okay. Remember, stimulants. Anytime the dog's brain is stimulated, if you give it to him, that is equal to a job. Okay. When your dog's laying out in the backyard and he's laying around, just looking around, you call him in for whatever. He looks at you and turns his head back and doesn't move. Well, he's not being stubborn. Maybe he's at work and he's persistent at his job. And you're not going to get him in until you can, clock him out, convince him that there's either nothing there or you're capable of doing that job too, and you can take over. So don't forget, you have a guardian breed here. So never forget that. They need work. They need a job. And the jobs are just so easy to do. Okay. The length of the job, you don't need a 5-hour job for the dog. You just need a job to keep them busy at the time. Okay. At the time. So because they refocus, that other job's over. Back to the crate. Now, always remember, just because you just crate trained your dog doesn't mean you can shut the door and then leave. Okay. You don't want to get a surprise when you think on Saturday, okay, cool, you're in the crate and everything like that, and you go to work. Then you come home and there's your dog meeting you at the door, and your crate is a pile of twisted metal laying in your living room. We don't want that either. All right. Doesn't mean he's got separation anxiety. That means we didn't see how he was when you left the room or something, or the house. Okay. Makes a difference. Because if you got a dog hesitant going into the crate, we just had your presence make him more comfortable. Well, that's only part 2. All right. Part 1, getting him in the crate. And along with part 1 is making him comfortable. And we just divided that into part 2. So now we've got to get him comfortable in the crate without your presence. Always remember that. Okay. Usually that's not hard if you give him something to do, something that stimulates him. So sometimes you got to experiment. We don't know what it is. So some dogs, and always be aware of the puzzle toys. When your Great Pyrenees conquers it, he's done. That's it. It's over. He ain't going to go back to that again. He's done. That job's finished. That's why the people that make puzzle toys have different stages of those toys, which should be sold in a complete pack. All right. But so heads up, when he conquers that puzzle toy and you give it to him again, he might eat it. Okay. Because he's done with it. So Judy has another question here. I love this interaction, Judy, because I'm stumbling along here. So I appreciate your help. Now, puppies. Rescues are loaded with puppies right now, not just Judy. Texas is loaded with them. Oh, shoot, that's where your puppies came from, matter of fact. So, puppies. You get a puppy. Well, ideally, you don't want to get a puppy on Sunday night and then turn around and go to work Monday morning and not have something prepared for your puppy, like a human or a place for your puppy to go, because a puppy can't go in a crate for 8 hours after they get there because it's a puppy. You're going to have one heck of a mess and a messed up puppy possibly. All right. So puppies are a whole different ball game here. All right. Now, and that's where things get to be a little bit of a challenge. And if you get your puppy from a breeder, your breeder may not have a clue, because usually they don't even have a clue what breed they are, because, Sasha was sent out as a Great Pyrenees. Well, yeah, she got double D's, but DNA test, she's like 88% Cuvaz. So, and breeder probably didn't even know what a Cuvaz was. Now, And yes, very, very good point. I remove my collars when they go in the crate if I shut the door. Okay. If they get that collar hung up on something, they can hang themselves, especially if it gets hung up on something that's going to freak them out, and they're going to do everything in their power. Next thing you know, your crate, if they get it free, your crate started in the living room could be in the kitchen now. Okay. But that's not because they're trying to get out. They're trying to free themselves. Take the collar off. All right, in the crate. They take the Pure Rescue Sanctuary is facility based. When they kennel their dogs, they take the collars off. All right. So and the same collars that we recommend and we give away sometimes. Well, that's actually your top collar. It gets caught up. It's martingale. Just so you know. Okay. But it's still they can't slip out of them. So what do you so just remember to take the collar off when they go in the crate and shut the door. We don't want anything to happen. All right. Now we've also had dogs get hung up in the backyard with the collar on. Now that is a parental choice because that's a tough call. I leave my dogs their collars are on in the backyard because of my fencing. All right. It's going to be hard. And plus I got seniors except one. And sure, her head's in a hole in the ground, not through the fence. So if it gets caught, if her collar gets caught on anything, it'll be a mole. Okay. So, and that's what she's shooting for anyway. She's a good girl. So take collars off in the crate. That's my recommendation. You do what you want. It's your choice. It's your dog. It's your home. We are giving you information to hopefully help you make even better choices. Okay. And just because you don't choose to take your collar off of your dog, that doesn't make it the wrong choice. That makes it your choice. Okay. We're not here to judge you. We don't judge. We suck at it. All right. Yeah. A lot of people didn't. That first night I talked to you, Marine, I filled you so full of information, I'm surprised your head didn't explode. But I most likely touched on that somewhere. But first calls and second calls, Marine had a very unique dog. So it was a very unique situation, and we had to move quickly and meeting the dog's needs. So that way her new dog didn't eat her. We don't want that. That's never a good thing when mom gets eaten. So always remember that. So now, but I do know that Nancy and Judy and them, they don't have collars on in their kennels. Okay. Now, I don't know about out when in their play yards. I think they use slip leads. So now slip lead, that's also a good thing. All right. So back to the crate training. Now, like I said, well, you helped get your dog into the crate in the end because of your presence and encouragement, and the dog trusts you to not put him in harm's way. So now we have to separate you from the dog in the crate. And one of the ways we do that is give the dog something to do, or we can sit down in a chair and read a book to him. We do read to our dogs. They do enjoy that. They don't know what you're saying. Well, they could know what you're saying. We don't know yet for sure, but they don't know what you're saying. But you are there and you're with your dogs and you've got sound coming out of your mouth. So that's comforting usually to your dog. If dog goes to sleep, okay, go out of the room. And by the way, just so everybody knows, you can learn so much more about your dog when you're not there than you ever will when you're there. Okay. How do we know that, Rachel?
Cameras.
Okay. IP cameras to this day and age, you can ask Judy, her husband does this too. They are not expensive. Okay. And you can go to work and you can keep an eye on your dog. With a lot of cameras, you can actually talk to your dog. They have two-way communication. Now, you want to freak your dog out? Talk to your dog over an IP camera when they can't see you. All right. They'll cock their head. No, that's mom's voice. All right. I know you're there somewhere. Make sure the camera's out of reach because they're going to try maybe to get to you and dissect the camera to get to you. We don't want that either. So, but IP cameras, you can learn so much more when you're not there. All right. So that's a consideration, especially if you have a dog that you have to go to work and you don't know, or you have a puppy. Well, when you have a child, what's the first thing a lot of new parents do? They go out and buy these little baby cams, nanny cams, whatever they call them. All right, this isn't that much different. Right? We learned a lot on about the dogs over time, not just Guy, just about all of them with cameras. So, and I'm only 20 steps away. That's one of the biggest reasons we have cameras. Now, if you're 2.5 hours from work, best you're going to be able to do is call a neighbor. But it's a good idea. Have somebody on standby that possibly is close enough, and make sure your dog knows them. Okay? Don't send a stranger in because they might get eaten, because you do have a livestock guardian breed that somewhere along the line somebody looked out in the field and saw this big white dog and say, hey, let's take that dog home, put him in the house. That'll be fun. All right. Well, we're here, so that's why we have them. Okay. I don't know who did that first either. But yeah, it's been fun, hasn't it? All right. So that's your crate. Now we have to separate. So now the easy, good way is dog goes, you read your dog falls asleep. Well, now you leave. What happens if your dog wakes up and first thing he does is look for you? We have to work on your relationship if that's what happens. Okay. Because then we could be conditioning separation problems. All right. So, and that's a different behavior now. Okay. That's not caused by the crate at all. Crate's got nothing to do with that. All right. So how we do it is in steps. We start short. We leave if the crate's in the living room, go out the front door. You don't have to go anywhere. Just go out the front door and don't talk and sing and everything. Just be silent and listen to your dog and watch your second hand. If you start hearing anything, all right, time to go back in and calm your dog. Give it an hour or so. Don't rush it. Okay. No rushing. And then go back out and remember where it is. And go back in about 10 seconds before the last time. Go back in before your dog starts getting so stressed he becomes verbal. All right. Or you hear something. Show him you come back. That's when we can start making the steps longer. So that's now, believe it or not, that's not a common occurrence. So I'm giving you worst case scenarios here. All right. Dog breaks out of a crate. Don't secure that crate. If that dog breaks out, don't secure the crate. He's going to hurt himself trying to get out, because he's going to keep trying, because he's a Great Pyrenees. He's adamant something is wrong. We have to address why he's so adamant to get out of there that he's willing to tear a nail off or break a canine. We don't want to break canine. That's his line of defense if the intimidation doesn't work. So this is a long one here. Yes. So surgeries. Always remember that if you have multiple dogs and next thing you know, they're out there playing and, your dog lands wrong and tears an ACL. Now you got TPLO surgery possibly in your future, but yet you still have 3 or 4 dogs that's going to want to play. Now, when you do the surgery, you're going to want a crate. If that dog's not crate trained, you're going to have an issue here. So last thing you want to do with Great Pyrenees, typically, this is just breed wide on this statement. Don't put your dog in a bedroom and shut the door. All right. Chances are pretty good he's going to open that door and come on back out, whether he turns the knob or not. Okay. He's Great Pyrenees. So let's, Judy thinks it's a very good idea to crate train your dogs all the time. Weigh it out. You know your dogs. Okay. Think about a surgery. What would you do? Where would you want your dog to recover after, say, for example, a knee surgery or hip surgery? Hip dysplasia is not unusual in this breed. All right. What happens if you have to have FHO, or God forbid he gets hit by a car and you got to have a hip replacement? There's some recovery time there, usually up to 6 weeks. And the vet may want him to be still until you get your range of motion and stuff done, and usually they have you. Usually on a TPLO surgery, they got you walking him like the next day, but controlled. So everything is controlled walking. So think about that. If your dog has surgery, do you want him crate trained ahead of time? Something to think about. All right, because do you have a safe place for him to go that you can control this? Not everybody has that. I don't. I have too many dogs, and my house isn't big enough. Okay, so think about that. All my dogs go in and out of the crate as they please. I got two 54-inch crates here. Holy crap! Yeah, I got more square footage of white fur than I do carpet. So, right. And some of you are like that. So always think ahead. Right. Remember, know your breed, and some of it you have to think worst case scenarios. Be prepared, because you don't want to have your dog have surgery, then you find out he doesn't do well in a crate, because he's going to try to get out whether that surgery's done or not, and he could damage the surgery. So we don't want that. Okay. And also dogs coming out of anesthesia. She's absolutely right. I haven't seen it personally yet, but they're facility based. They see more of this than what I did. So yeah, dog freaking out, come out of anesthesia. I totally get that. That can happen. So, and never use your crate to punish the dog. Well, at least never let your dog know you're using the crate to punish the dog. It's always got to be fun for the dog, never punishment. If you associate that crate with something that dog in his mind thinks is bad, now you got to start over. If you tell your dog to come into the house and then you scold him for taking too long, you just associated just coming into the house with something bad. Okay. So now you've messed up a command word and coming into the house. So always remember that. Crate is even worse. It's confined space. All right. Now, sometimes a crate will freak a dog out, covered up with a blanket. And if he settles down some, but not quite enough, raise one of the sides up of the blanket. Let him see out one side. Maybe we cover the side that he has to see from. Usually the side where people come from. Right? Always remember that. So plan ahead, because GPRescue makes a very, very good point here. And they're facility based, and they see a lot of this. Okay. They can see more than what you're going to see in a home. Only everything they see is fully capable of happening in a home, and it does. So worst case scenarios. Now, your dog may never need surgery. Your dog may never go into that crate. But what have you got to lose? You gave your dog knowledge. All right. If you ever get sick and you have to board your dog, well, you've got a head start now. All right. So crate training does not and is not hard. It's not hard work. It all depends on what your dog's been through and what the meaning of the crate is that you relate to your dog. Just like a command word. The word means, your word is irrelevant. It's what you teach them it means. Okay. So you can sit, doesn't have to be sit. Stand, if you teach him that it means sit, then there you go. Now you'll confuse every human that ever comes around, but the dog won't be confused. Always remember, make sure your dog knows what you want them to do. Do not send confusing signals. And if you do, well, that's on you, not your dog. So you have to find a way. And there's people that can help. So reach out. If you ever need help with your dog, reach out. If you have Great Pyrenees and you can't find, if you don't trust anybody you're talking to, reach out to Rescue. They will most likely point you in the right direction. Okay? Because, well, it's your breed. All right? So, like if you're up in Colorado, up near Denver area somewhere, they're down near Colorado Springs, but chances are Judy knows people that can help out with training or something like that, or just about anything, because she knows her area. She's been there a long time. Okay. Rachel had to go because I heard some noise in the background. I bet you that was one of the dogs, and she has to go check on the dog. All right. So that's what we do. And I don't know what happened here. I don't know why that didn't. Oh, that's why I started it. There it goes. Unstar it. So We have another question. Marine. Nope, we don't. Holy crap, look what time it is. Whoa. No wonder people are fleeing this page like crazy. Man, if I'd have known that, I didn't even pay attention to time. Rachel, why didn't you say something?
I don't know. You was
Sorry,
doing good
everybody.
with the crate training.
Wow. We'll come back to this. I'm sorry. If you want this little textbook technique here on one way to do this, send me an email, steve@GPRescue.com, and I'll send it to you. All right. We will touch back on this, and when Roman gets back, Roman's got some awesome stuff he's fixing to do in Texas. That's why he's not here. But we'll have Roman touch on it too. Now, Roman doesn't like crates. All right. Just remember that. He doesn't like crates. But I've seen him crate train before. So I think he even has video on crate training. So we'll touch on this again in the future. And because there's still more, because man, I'll tell you what, we could do 10 shows at an hour each and probably still not cover every point, because these are Great Pyrenees. These are, God was just showing off when he's created this breed. And I think just about every one of you out there agree with that. All right, everybody, we're not going to have time for drawing tonight. Don't forget Carol, and if you're still here, if you didn't fall asleep on me, and Elizabeth, and Candace and Jeff, I will get those in the mail Monday, latest Tuesday. All right, we're just swamped right now. All right, everybody, we're going to have to call it a night because Rachel's bigger than I am, and I don't want her to beat me up for keeping her on here. Thank you, Rachel, for giving me the moral support I needed. I stumbled through it much easier with you there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And hopefully you'll come back and give us another update on Sky one of these days.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we're going to head out for tonight. We'll see you next week. And let me read these last two comments here. It just came in. Takeaway. Yes, Judy is absolutely correct. You didn't tell me it was overtime either, Judy. I don't blame everybody. It's my fault. Take your time. She's absolutely right. If you screw it up, it's not over. Okay. You take a step back, look at the big picture, and let's try a different method. If this way doesn't work, don't do it. Stop doing it. Okay. Try a different way. There's other ways. Okay. Never use force, never use pain, never use fear. Just so you know. If you need those definitions, email me at steve@GPRescue.com, and I'll be happy to help you out with that when I have time. Okay. So if you want a copy of that Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri crate training, just one guideline is all it is. Send me an email. I'll be happy to send it to you. Okay. Or send me a message. You can message here. And I'll make sure I try to. We got 7 destinations. I'm not sure which one you're on, so it might take a minute for me to find you. All right. All right, everybody. You guys have a great night. We're out of here. But my wife is going to kill me too because she blames me for everything. But that's what wives are supposed to do to husbands, right? Night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.